I'm probably not alone in having the experience of going back and watching a kid's show and realizing some of the jokes weren't super kid-friendly. I go back and rewatch episodes of Spongebob all the time. It's one of the best shows ever. And it definitely has more than a couple of instances showing things that might be a little suspicious for children. But there was one scene that I rewatched that might have been on a different level.
Right this way, please.
Excuse me, my good man. I believe thou meant to say, righteth this wayeth. Someday, but not today.
The fish in question here is, he's talking about killing himself. Let's just be honest. Now, this scene and line of thought made me go down the rabbit hole of the TV parental guidelines. If you watch any kind of TV, you're probably familiar with this. It's the rating system that's used for television shows and programs to determine the appropriateness depending on people's age. But after reading it and looking into it more, I can say, definitively, that it makes absolutely no sense. Let's start with the basic design. Now, it's pretty straightforward. It's separated into 3 different parts. Well, the top 2 are kind of irrelevant. TV is just to tell you you're watching TV. The middle represents the age, and the bottom section indicates the naughty things that this show will contain. Now, it's all pretty simple, except if you haven't read the official TV rating guide. So, there are 7 age ratings: Y, Y7, Y7FV, G, PG, 14, and MA. Y, I assume, stands for years, so Y means it's appropriate for all ages. Y7 indicates kids 7 and up. Y7FV is the same thing, but it has fantasy violence, because for some reason it needs its own specific category. G means general audience, which is essentially the same thing as Y, but I think it's more so saying it's probably fine, but don't blame us if it's not. G means parental guidance. 14, the only clear rating out of all of these, is for people age 14 and up, and MA is mature, so 17 and 18 and older. And the bottom section includes 5 categories. D for suggestive dialogue, FV for fantasy violence, L for coarse or crude language, S for sexual situations, and V for violence. Now, these ratings are already kind of vague, but the system gets even more fuzzy. From what I've read, these ratings aren't required. Apparently, they're voluntarily rated, and the ones who choose the ratings are either the producer or the people within the specific networks. So if they really felt like it, they could just say whatever they wanted to. But obviously, they'd get in trouble for that. The problem I see here is kind of a lack of standardization. Different producers and different networks will probably interpret these ratings in different ways. There is a board of directors who oversees everything, but from what I've read, all they do is seemingly answer to complaints that distressed parents have, or if any of these people have any questions for them. SpongeBob is typically rated Y, maybe Y7, or even YFV, if it's a little more risque. And each episode is rated individually. But some people may argue that the scene in question still might not be good for 7-year-olds and under. Jokes about ending your own life might upset some parents, but you know what, maybe this was just a one-off type of thing. Not really. There was also an episode of Jimmy Neutron that explored the friendly topic of suicide as well.
There's no reason for me to live! No reason at all!
But Jimmy Neutron is rated similarly to SpongeBob, so I guess it's cool.
Nice shot.
Now, the main thing that confuses me is the actual episode of SpongeBob that got banned, the one where Mr. Krabs goes to steal his mom's underwear.
I guess you're gonna miss the panty raid.
Panty raid? You're talking about girls, right? Girls?
Yeah?
And you're talking about raiding their dressers for their underpants, right?
Oh, yeah.
Frilly things! We hit the jackpot!
Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs!
Woo-hoo! You finally came through for me, boys! I feel young again!
Eugene?
Mother?
Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say what should or shouldn't be considered appropriate for kids, but I just feel like one of these 2 scenes is a little bit darker than the other and might be under more scrutiny. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let me know of any shows that you rewatched that probably weren't as child-friendly as you thought they were. You know, another thing that Jimmy Neutron and SpongeBob have in common is they have scenes where they have their characters shrunken down and put into jars.